Oh, so welcome back to another YouTube video. So this one's going to be about Twitter in 2024 for promoting OnlyFans models or promoting yourself if you're a model watching this. Now, I won't waste too much time talking about other stuff, but if you do know who I am, or if you've been in a free call of mine or in the private group calls, you probably know that Twitter is basically my best number one traffic for bringing subs to OF pages, right? I've been very good at it for quite a while now, for over a year. It's been my number one, maybe number two for some models. It's always worked well for me. I wouldn't say I'm like the best at it. There's people that I see that do way better than me, but I am very consistent with it when it comes to being able to go viral consistently, bringing 300, 400, 500, sometimes even more free subs per day. So yeah. So first thing I've got over here is account creation. Now account creation on Twitter, from my experience, is very simple. Now I feel like a lot of people really complicate this process for a lot of things, and of course for other things this does matter a lot more. But for Twitter specifically, all I do is I make a new account, make the account with a phone number. I usually do it with a UK or US number. I don't want to use anything else. But I've never used a VPN or proxy or anything like that for Twitter, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. Like I said, I've been running Twitter for a very long time now. And I'm managing a lot of accounts myself still. For all my models, I basically handle a lot of it, and even if an account does get banned, it doesn't affect any of the other accounts, nothing like that. I've literally never had an issue with me not using proxies. In my opinion, if someone tells you that you need to use a proxy, you need to use a VPN, anything like that for Twitter, I think it's just bullshit. I don't think you need to use it whatsoever. Like I said, I've never had an issue. And if you've tried it out yourself without using a proxy, you probably know that there isn't really issues with it. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. Now once you make the account, I basically did a little thing here, show an example of what a good profile and what a bad profile looks like, right? So a bad profile, as you can see, it's sort of like this. Obviously the profile picture in my opinion is not bad in this, but the banner, that can easily get deleted by Twitter, by their guidelines and whatnot. So, I would recommend doing something like this. Now again, the name, I really don't think it's a smart idea for a model to hide a name and be named something like your favorite little secret. It doesn't really stand out. There's so many girls that have 10 subs in OF that name themselves something like this. It just won't work. Now, next thing is the location. I'm going to talk about that a bit later on more, but the location on this is not good at all in my opinion, because the location can be used as a very good CTA on Twitter, and it can increase your conversion quite a lot in my opinion. Because obviously, a lot of people see the location right before clicking the OF link possibly, right? And here she's also got a link tree, which in my opinion, I don't really know why people ever decide to use something that's other than OF link, because you want people to have it the easiest way possible to subscribe, right? So if you're making a link tree, you're making some other random links, not making it simple for them to subscribe. I think there's no point, because Twitter doesn't ban you from an OF link in your bio. Now another thing you can see, she's not verified. Now in my opinion, verification is not necessary, but it does just make the page look a little bit nicer. And if you do the strategy, which I'll talk about later, it does help it a little bit as well. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the bio is not the best either. Like, it's not the worst. Okay, so this is a good profile. Now, obviously, just because it's a good profile doesn't mean there's not a few things that I'd recommend to do more. However, it's still a good profile, right? Like, obviously, the banner, she's sort of like an e-girl, so obviously a banner like that kind of matches her niche, which is what's good. Usually what I do is like just make like a girly pink profile picture. I mean the banner, sorry, or like a banner matching the profile picture, right? So if she's wearing like a blue bra, you can make it like a blue sky or blue clouds, like girly, or like animated clouds, stuff like that, right? Obviously this doesn't really match her profile picture, but it matches her niche, so it's still fine. And then as you can see, she's verified. She's got an emoji in her name. It doesn't really make a difference. I usually put the emoji at the end rather than at the front, but like I said, it doesn't really make a difference. And one thing that she's not doing here is she's not put a location. Now, like I said, the location I always use as a CTA to direct them to the link over here. So if you have a free OF, for example, you could literally just put free OF today, or my OF is free, or free OF, and then just like a finger pointing to the right to show the link, right? Anything like that. I'm sure you guys can be creative with it, but yeah. Now the bio I like this because it's similar to what I do, where it's like I only reply on my free OF, I only reply on my OF, stuff like that. That's usually what I do, or I do it more like specific to her niche. So, if she's an ego, you'd mention that sort of in the bio more, right? So I think bios of that is kind of what I recommend doing, rather than just saying, like on here, natural sweet GA peach, fit with a bubbly personality. It's not the worst, but there's a lot better you could do. I feel like, in my opinion, I like doing that. I take someone back on my OF, or I only reply to DMs on my OF, stuff like that, because it entices people more to want to go over to your OF to talk to you. Alright, now pinned post. I don't want to zoom in too much. This might be a little bit risky posting this on YouTube, this picture, but pinned post should be engaging or have some sort of CTA, right? So for example, on this one, if you're active on X, say hi for a DM back, serious. Now I won't talk too much about this on this YouTube video, because I do talk about this on in my private group. But the reason why she says say hi for a DM back can also be because she uses a tool for Twitter to DM them. But as for the actual tweet, there's not exactly a CTA, but it is engaging. And if she puts an OF link in the replies, people will then obviously comment hi, and then they'll see the OF link in the replies. And because of that, some people might see that OF link and be like, you know what, let me go message over there instead. And even if they don't, even if they just say hi, it's still engaging, it still pushes out the tweet more, because a lot of people are engaging, saying hi to it, right? So yeah, that's a good pin post right there, in my opinion. It's very good. That's kind of the type of captions that you should be doing a lot of the time if you want to, go viral. Alright, now the next thing is SFW posting and NSFW posting. What's better, stuff like that. Now, unfortunately, I did want to, show examples, but obviously on YouTube I can't show examples of this, otherwise the videos get deleted. But SFW posting, obviously, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably know what both of these things mean, so I'm not gonna, say and explain them both. But SFW posting, if you're gonna do SFW, a few things to keep in mind is that your model actually has to be very good looking, especially now with the competition on Twitter because of how many girls post nudity and stuff like that. Posting SFW won't work that well for you unless your model is actually very good looking and has high quality content, and of course everything else, good profile, good caption, stuff like that, engaging caption, all of that stuff, right? If she's not good looking, I personally don't think there's any point even trying to do SFW, but if you want to try it, then go ahead, but it most likely won't do too well. Obviously, it depends what you're expecting from Twitter, but if you want to actually make a lot of money from Twitter, then there's no point doing that. Now, NSFW posting, I put what I do, because NSFW is what I do the most. Pretty much every mode I have, I do NSFW. But when I say NSFW, I mean boobs only. I don't post anything else, because you still obviously want to keep things for people to actually be able to buy, right? Like if you post everything like some models do, it's just going to make the customers think there's no point really buying it. Obviously some will still buy it, some will still buy custom stuff like that, but a lot of them will just think there's no point me buying, a picture of a certain thing if it's on Twitter for free. So yeah, it's pretty simple, boobs only, there's not much else to say. But as I put here, both should still be high quality from good results, good captions, engaging. And I'll explain what I mean by questions in a second as well. But yeah, like I said, it's pretty simple, there's not much else to say. Whether you're doing SFW and SFW, make sure you're still doing high quality. Just because you're doing SFW doesn't mean you're going to get away with having low quality content and still go viral. You still need high quality content. It's just a bit easier to go viral with that. Alright, now the next thing is captions. So this is what I meant by the questions part. So captions, obviously should be engaging, like for X, retweet for X, comment for X, relating to the content. So what I mean by these three is, you can say like for a DM of something, or retweet for a DM of something, or retweet for this, retweet for that. Something to make them want to actually do, somehow engage the tweet. And relating to the content, very simple. The caption should be relating to the content. So, you don't want to mention her ass if the picture's to do with her boobs, right? It just doesn't make sense. But then with the questions part, one thing that works very well for me that I do quite often on Twitter for the caption, obviously this kind of counts as should be engaging, but is by making the caption a question, right? So by making the caption a question, you're going to make people want to answer you in the DM, not in the DMs, in the replies, sorry. And obviously with that, the more people that comment in the replies, the more pushed out we'll get. So that's why I recommend doing questions as well. Like I said earlier before as well, I'm sure you guys can be creative with your own questions, but yeah, that's one thing I recommend doing. And the next thing I put here is retweet groups. Now, I don't want to sit and explain exactly what retweet groups mean. If you're completely new to OFM, you don't know what retweet groups are. I'm not going to sit and explain exactly how they work fully. It's very simple. It's basically a group, like a group chat on Twitter with a bunch of different models, or sometimes agencies, or some people even use bots for it, where you do retweet for retweet, right? Very simple. It's very simple, so I don't want to sit and explain for too long how it works exactly, but that's pretty much it. Now, ways to get it in. There's a few ways. What you can do is group for groups. Obviously, if you have a few groups already, you can trade groups basically. And then if you want, you can DM me on Telegram or on Discord, or even on Instagram. It will be in the description, and then I'll send you guys a seller for retweet groups. Right now, if you're not willing to pay for them, then you won't go far with Twitter, because retweet groups are very cheap for the amount of money you can make from them. But the only really other option there is to get inside of them, if you don't have network or people that will just give you them, is by just DMing either models or agencies, asking for a few groups, or basically acting as if you're a model trying to get inside some groups, and there'll be some people that might add you, right? And from there, pretty much you literally just retweet for retweet, right? If people send their posts, you retweet them first, and you can send your post in, and then people will retweet you. Obviously, the more groups you're in, the better results you'll get. You can't be in like 5 groups and expect to make thousands, because that's not how it works. But that's pretty much what retweet groups are. Obviously, you can hire VAs and stuff like that to do it for you. Obviously, I don't do this part myself, because this does take quite a while. So I do have VAs that do it for me. There are also bots, stuff like that. But anyway, that's pretty much it for that. And the last part I want to talk about here is promos, right? So promos on Twitter can be good, but once again, it's kind of similar to SFW posting. Promos, you're not going to profit too much unless your model is very good looking, or at least you're very creative with it. If you're not creative with it, and your model's not going to look in, or at least not one of those things, you probably won't profit too much from it. So obviously here I put be creative with promos, CTAs, and then replies, right? So as you can see, obviously creativity, they've got costumes on it, on their models. Obviously now this is a very popular costume that a lot of models do. So, if you're going to do this, I'd recommend to do something else, but obviously, it's still creative, right? It still works for them at least, but like I said, it's better to try something else than copying someone one-to-one. But yeah, so as you can see, who has seen the Sophie Rain Spider-Man video? Obviously, it's a video and then a picture. And then in the comments, she commented that, wish I've ever made that video. And then he replied saying, then why did you? So obviously that gets pushed to the top. So everyone that, goes to the comments to say, yes, I've seen it, or no, I've not seen it, or where is it? Where can I find the video? They'll see Sophie Rain, and then they might want to sub to OF. Now obviously Korn, this guy here, he's a very good guy to get promos from. But obviously promos on Twitter from good pages aren't obviously completely cheap. So if you don't have the budget, or you're not willing to spend a big amount of money yet for promos and whatnot, the other option that I mentioned earlier that I'm going to talk about for having verification that helps you is commenting / replying on other models' promos that they pay for, right? So when you're verified, you do get pushed more to the top. Obviously, it doesn't mean you'll get the very top, because obviously a lot of people with verification will be replying, but you'll get pushed a lot more higher up, right? So rather than paying for promos, what you can do is, for example, on a tweet like this, you can reply saying, my video is way better, or have you seen my video, something like that, with a picture of your model. And then, obviously it won't get thousands of likes most likely, but there'll still be people that see it, and still might be some people that might be interested in your model and go sub to OF. But guys, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did get some information from this video for Twitter. If I did miss anything, make sure to comment or join my free Discord community. It's the biggest OFM Discord community. So you can join that, ask some questions in the free channel. I'll make sure to reply to them whenever I can. I've also got a private group inside that same Discord. So if you guys do want to check that out, it will all be in the description. So yeah.